Hello, my name is Brody Myers, and today I will be talking about the difference in training styles for college athletics, specifically the difference between Olympic lifting versus traditional resistance training. For this test, 75 MSU student athletes from various power sports will be used, 25 from football, 25 from wrestling, and 25 from track and field. Each athlete will be put through a 6-week resistance training program, and at the end of that 6-week program, they will test their 1-rep maxes. The maxes for bench press, back squat, and power clean will be totaled up and divided by their body weight to get their overall power index. They will then have a 2-week down period where no lifting will be allowed. Conditioning may be allowed so that they can stay in shape, but no lifting will be allowed in that time period. The tests will then be repeated with the Olympic lifting. So the athletes will go through another 6-week training program, but it will be the Olympic lifting this time rather than the resistance training. And the maxes will then go through a 1-rep max test again for all 3 of those lifts. And the maxes will be totaled up and divided up by their body weight to get their overall power index. The names were put into a computer. The names from all 3 teams were put into a computer and randomized. That way there was total randomization, and it was not a selective choice to pick certain athletes for this study. The power index was taken twice, once at the end of the resistance training program and once at the end of the Olympic training program. For this test, a t-test was used to determine the difference in all 75 athletes, and the t-test was selected because it is best to determine the difference and to compare the 2 in this study. Getting into the specifics of the study, 13 out of the 15 increased their overall power index from the resistance training to Olympic training, and only 2 of them did not increase. 1 of them stayed the same, and 1 of them decreased their power index. This, for the most part, agrees with my hypothesis that Olympic lifting will allow the athletes to increase their overall power index because of its emphasis on power and moving the bar fast and working on that explosion of the hips. Something that may skew this data is the athlete's weight at the time of testing. If the athlete is heavier on one testing date compared to the other, it could either increase or decrease depending on it, because if they are lighter, their power and their overall 1 rep maxes go up. Their power index will drastically shoot up because the number that is being divided by is lower, so it should be a higher power index. Something that could be done to broaden this study is to compare both types of lifting at the same time with 2 separate groups. That way we can truly determine the effects of both training styles, and there is nothing that could affect the training styles beforehand. After the study is expanded a little bit, the scale of the study should be increased as well to high schools, other universities, and to even the pro level to truly determine whether Olympic lifting or resistance training is the correct way to train athletes at all levels. Thank you for listening to my presentation on the differences between Olympic lifting and resistance style training. Hopefully you guys are able to learn something about the topic and will be able to apply it in your current setting.